Okay, it is 6:02. I am just going to get us started. All right, so let me present my screen.
Let me do a quick intro for you, Stella, and then we'll hop in as I take you live.
Okay.
All right, so we are live. Welcome, everybody. Stella is definitely chomping at the bit to get started here. I wanted to thank everybody for investing their time in this career fair today. And I also wanted to welcome you to the very final session of this evening with Stella, who Find Your Peanut Butter. She's a career coach, and she's going to help you discover how to find that job that sticks. So, Stella, let's end the day strong. Go for it.
I got it. I will bring the energy. Thanks, Albert. Awesome. Cool. So as I try to format my slides so I can present this, why am I blanking? Oh, it says present. Okay, sorry. Great start there. All right. Awesome. Okay, so welcome to this presentation. Like Albert introduced, I'm going to be presenting on how to find a job that sticks in 2021. I've actually done this as a podcast for Albert, and there was actually a lot of really good content in there that I wanted to share. So this isn't going to be a traditional job search recruiting process type of presentation. I really wanted to get into the meat of things, probably what y'all want to hear, and really get into the nitty gritty and share some details that you may not be able to hear from other recruiters or anyone else. So before I get started, can I have y'all type into the chat where you are in the job search process as of now? Are you in early stages, final stages? Are you lost? Have you been in the job search for a while? Why don't you type that into the chat so I can see where you're at? About a month in, all right. Thanks for sharing. Not too long, even though I know it feels like it's been really long. New to job searching, about to graduate from college. Awesome, congratulations. Need help standing out, transitioning. Okay, perfect. Cool. Anyone else? Type in chat, please. Sending out resumes, trying to network. I'm doing career pivot. I got you. I did one myself. Early stages, later in my career. All right, need to start a new career, about to graduate. Okay, it sounds like y'all are kind of on the newish to job search, looking to career pivot in stages. Okay, great. As we go along, as we go along, please let me know if you have any questions, type them into the chat. I will be able to see them. So let's get started. I want to make this as interactive as possible. It is your session. So please let me know how I can help. All right, so let's get started. Who am I? Why am I qualified to give this presentation? So just a little bit of background. I was a career counselor at a small nonprofit. Once I graduated from grad school, I did help a lot of college students with their resumes, mock interviews, and connecting them with employers for their first internship or full-time opportunity. Then after that, I transitioned to become a campus recruiter at a public accounting firm. And I was actually a campus recruiter for 5 years. And that's where I really started my career. So I started as a campus recruiter, pretty much worked my way up to being manager and oversaw the whole campus recruiting program. So you can see I have the ins and outs of hiring at this point. Unfortunately, I did lose my job last August during the pandemic. So I had to do my own job search not long ago and eventually transitioned to become a partnerships manager now at a coding bootcamp called App Academy. And with that position, I basically do a lot of what y'all are doing, which is recruiting and reaching out to different companies and recruiters to help my job seekers find entry-level positions in software engineering. So that's what I do as a partnerships manager. On the side, I am a career coach. So if any of you are looking for help afterwards, more than happy to help, and we can talk more about that later. So yeah, so that's a little bit about my path. Like I mentioned, I did do my own job search process, but I'm also here to give you points of view from a recruiting point of view, and also as a partnerships manager, and what I really see out there as I am reaching out to different recruiters right now. Cool. So today we will cover what's Find Your Peanut Butter. So a little bit about my side business, but really going into how to find a job that sticks. So what Albert was talking about, a little bit about career coaching, and if it may be beneficial to you, and then trends and advice that I have seen this year. All right, cool. Can I get a thumbs up? Everyone's good. Give me a yes. Give me a, are you excited in the chat? Let me know where you're at before we get started. Good. Ready to dig into this? Awesome. Love it. I see some thumbs up. Cool. Awesome. All right, let's get into it. What is Find Your Peanut Butter? So for me, I love analogies. That's just part of my personality. Being a career counselor, it's really hard to motivate people when they're looking to find a job. So I really want to give an analogy to job seekers, telling you, hey, you know what? You have the transferable skills. So this, for me, what Find Your Peanut Butter is, it's my company. It really compares the similarities between finding a soulmate or dating to job hunting. And for me, I'm saying, hey, if you have experience dating, or if you have a significant other, you've gone through that process, you have the transferable skills to really find that job that you're looking for. So really, it's to help you find the one that sticks. All right, so just a quick analogy for you. You might find me making references to dating once in a while here. Very applicable to jobs, I swear, but feel free to ask me more about that. All right, so what it means to find your peanut butter is really to find the one that sticks. And really digging into this now, what we're looking at is, you know, knowing what you want. Yeah, who's ready to fall in love with their career? Knowing what you want. So when you know what you want, you know, it's really hard. And Albert and I talked about this. Whether you're a new grad just graduating and trying to find your first job, whether you're looking for a career pivot, it's really beneficial to reflect on everything that you've done so far. And this is including what you like and don't like about your past jobs, internships, volunteering, anything that you have professional experience in. That's really what's going to help you set the stage on figuring out what you want in your next job or your first job. So really, that's going to help you with initial conversation. Of course, not everyone's going to have it figured it out. So you'll figure out the rest throughout the recruiting process. So the more you interview, the more you talk to different people in the field, the more you talk to recruiters, the more you'll figure out what you want and don't want as well. And then there's a lot of similarities, again, between dating and job searching. You're always going to be going through the recruiting and vetting process. So for example, a resume is like a dating profile. This is to really see if you qualify. This is what's going to get you into the door. This is what's going to have people come knock on your door to see if they want to reach out and talk to you. So first impressions, very important. Then you're going to move on to the phone screen or the video date stage to see if there's a connection. So usually that is either on the phone, video, but this is really talking live and having that conversation to see if anything clicks, right? And if something does, fantastic. That means you get to move on to more interviews to see if you get along with your peers or their friends. In this case, in recruiting, it would be colleagues or the potential people that you would be working with. And then hopefully getting an offer. However, keeping in mind that along the way, it is a two-way street. So at any time, if you feel like it's not a good fit or they don't feel like it's a good fit, whether you're dating or in the job search, someone can drop out at any time. So, but use this as, I would say, practice, as experience for the next one to really find the one that sticks. So yeah, you will go through probably multiple interviews, talk to multiple companies, just like how you talk to multiple people before you find the one. If you don't and you find the one in one shot, congratulations, that's amazing. But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't necessarily work that way, and it will take some work to find it. But I will almost guarantee that you will grow along the way and learn a lot along the way. So not everything is lost. Cool. So top lessons between dating and career, really focusing on career here. Everything is a process. So like I mentioned, you need to connect, have a first meeting, follow-up meeting, probably have discussions in terms of agreement before you officially commit. Everything is a process. So that's what the recruiting process looks like on a high level. All right. Again, you need to be proactive and follow up. There's a lot of people who, I don't want to say there's a lot of people, but there's some people who, if they don't hear back from someone, they just assume that they may never hear back, or assume that someone isn't interested, or whatnot. You really don't want to assume in any of the process. You want to follow up as best you can just to get a final answer. When I was in the job search process, I always appreciate it when, even if they sent me an email saying, hey, we received your application, but we declined to move you forward, at least I can get that closure and know that I don't need to expect to hear back from them, especially if it was my dream job or dream guy or whatnot. So and I'm telling you, especially as a former recruiter, you want to follow up and be proactive. And I can see a question in the chat, how to follow up, what to say. So that really just depends on where you're at. Maybe you want to follow up with an application. You can just message someone asking them, hey, Stella, sent in my application. I just wanted to check in to see if you received it or where you are in the process. Please let me know. Or another way to follow up is after an interview where you've talked to an interviewer and you can say, hey, Stella, thank you so much for speaking to me about XYZ position today. I love talking to you about, insert something that you talked about here. Please don't hesitate to let me know if you have any further questions, and I look forward to hearing back about next steps. So those are a couple ways that you can follow up. Let's say it's been a week after an interview and they said they want to move you forward, but you haven't heard back yet. You can say something like, hey, Stella, thank you so much for speaking with me a week ago. I just wanted to check in because you mentioned that you wanted to move me forward in the process, but I haven't heard back yet. Can you please let me know if I can provide any information to move me forward to the next steps? Here's my availability. So there's multiple ways and steps along the way to follow up. I would just say if you haven't heard back in about a week, you can tend to follow up. However, this leads me to my next point is if the person doesn't respond, move on. I would say if you have to message a person more than 2 times, just move on and, pursue other opportunities. This has to be mutually beneficial. So if they're not responding, I wouldn't say it's obvious that they're not interested, but you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket anyways, right? And then as a job seeker and as a candidate, and I want to tell this to all the recruiters who may be on here as well, please do not ghost. We want you to be proactive, but don't chase either. You shouldn't be chasing anyone, but especially now as a partnerships manager, I will send out opportunities to my job seekers and I will be in contact with employers. So I'm kind of the liaison or the middle person. And a lot of recruiters will email me saying, hey, I haven't heard from this person. So I will check in with the job seeker and they're like, yeah, I actually found a new job, so I'm not going to move forward, or I, for some reason, didn't see this email, but now I see it buried in all of my emails. And I tell them, hey, can you actually respond back? It's great that you found a new job or, whatnot, but please be respectful. So going to the next one, please be courteous and get back to the person to let them know whether you want to move forward or not. I think it just helps the process move along. And if you, for some reason, want to apply for a job in the future, which I actually have done that in my current recruiting process, you want to stay in good graces with the recruiters. So you'll never know. It's always good to be courteous and just to follow up, just so everyone's on the same page. We all know that job seekers are really busy, recruiters are really busy, but at the same time, you're all still building relationships, whether it's now or in the future. If it's not for this company, maybe it's reaching out to get a referral for another company or whatnot. So please, please, please keep that in mind. That's just something I'm noticing a lot as I am doing a lot of, helping a lot of my students do the job search and connecting them to employers. All right, I'm gonna pause there, take a drink of water. Let me know if you have any questions in the chat, or feel free to unmute yourself and ask. All righty, sounds like we're good to go. Cool. All right, moving on to the next section, how to find the job that sticks. All right, I talked about this a little bit, but this is what really helped me as I transitioned out of my old job of 5 years into finding a new job during COVID and what I wanted to do next. So it's really helpful to reflect, and I wanted to show you how to reflect and what to think about. So if you're not good at reflecting yourself, which I actually wasn't, it's really good to talk it out with other people, whether it's friends, family, whether you're talking it out with recruiters or whatnot. This is to really have people pull different information from you. So a lot of people that can help you ask different questions to really make you think about things that you may normally don't think about, and think in different aspects or perspectives. So for example, when I lost my job and I got on the phone with a lot of recruiters and my friends, a lot of them were like, so what do you like about your past job? Do you want to do campus recruiting again? Do you want to do it in the same industries? Are you looking to pivot? What do you think you're really good at? What didn't you like at your last job? So they were able to ask me a lot of questions, and so many people actually ask pretty similar questions to where I was able to answer it so often. I also noticed that recruiters ask a lot of the similar questions, so I was actually prepared for my interview at that point, but that really helped me geared towards the direction of what I wanted to apply to next and how my old jobs or my past jobs were applicable to what I wanted to do. So mind you, I was in recruiting, campus recruiting to be specific. I actually wanted to pivot into sales, which I'm kind of in now. And I don't know, I've always wanted to kind of just sell, build those relationships, kind of like what you're doing in recruiting, and really have a quota to fulfill. So I've actually applied to a lot of sales positions, but I took a lot of my transferable skills. So like my skills of working with people, my skills of working within a timeline, building programs, building relationships, and translating that into sales and applying for those type of positions, which I actually got a couple interviews for. But then after talking to several people within sales and doing informational interviews, I realized there's like some part of sales that I don't want to do, which is like the sourcing, just like the cold outreach, but I really wanted to do more of the relationship building type. So I tried to apply for roles in customer success. So I just wanted to give that example of how I reflected in terms of what I wanted to do next. So some tips for you all in terms of reflecting, if you don't know where to start, I would say do something every day and write down what you accomplished or what frustrated you. So whether you're in a job search or you're currently in a role, write down something that makes you happy or that you're frustrated with. Kind of like journaling in a sense, like what happened that day, what you're proud of, whatever it is. Or give yourself 1 to 3 things to think about every day, whether it's like gratitude, what you want to work on, what are some specific skills, what are your strengths, etc., and how you apply those daily. And then once you start writing those down, you'll probably see a lot of commonalities and trends in your own life, so that when you have that list, you'll be able to see what you're good at, what you like, what you don't like, and then pull that information to see what jobs matches what you're looking for and what you may be looking for to pivot to or to apply to next, right? And then again, if you still have no idea, I would sit on panels, I would talk to different people, listen to other people's thoughts to generate your own. So if someone's telling you something, see if you agree with them, or if you don't, think about why. All right, so I'm gonna leave that there. Any questions about reflecting and what to think about, etc.? Before I move on, type into the chat, please. I'm going to try to roll this along so you can ask additional questions afterwards. All right, if you don't have any questions, let me see what the next slide is. Oh, perfect. If you don't have any questions, let's do an activity, because like I said, I want to make this interactive. I do want to make you think. So let's start by reflecting on the jobs you want. Why don't you take a couple seconds, couple minutes, type it into the chat. What you like and don't like about your previous or current jobs, internships, volunteering, etc. So why don't you type that into the chat? What you like and don't like. I'll give you an example. In my current job, and if my boss is here, I really don't like the administrative aspects of my job. I think I spend way too much time on spreadsheets and updating different spreadsheets. So that's something I don't prefer to do. But what I do like about my job is building relationships with different companies to provide opportunities to my current job seekers. I also like making an impact, because what I do at my current job, I love, changing students' lives and being able to provide them opportunity. So that's just to give you an example of something I like and don't like about my current job. Cool, see some answers rolling in. We got like working with people, participants, coworkers, and our AAPI contacts. Awesome, John sounds like me, like working with people. Like the strategy side of it, but not the meetings. I definitely agree. I love spreadsheets, not a fan of hunting people down, story of my life. Like traveling and attending conferences, meeting people, me as well. Can't wait till the day where we can travel again. My supervisor was an obsessive micromanager. I've definitely had those, but I love making projects successful once I have a chance. Yes, definitely. I love project management. Didn't like the lack of room for creativity and innovation. For sure, I had that before. Feeling like I'm valued. I love problem solving and leading projects people. Love creative freedom, ownership. Didn't like office politics. I feel you on that, Russ. Manager with different management style. Don't like politics, like learning new technology, dislike bureaucratic yellow tape. All right, I think I can keep reading this. It sounds like a lot of you actually have some common likes and dislikes, and I can definitely relate to all of it. I've been, doing a lot of these different types of jobs for, how long did I graduate for? Not to share how old I am, but can definitely relate. What I would actually suggest you do is, whether it's now taking a little peek out of my presentation, is connect with people within this room or this presentation and talk about it. What I'm going to talk about next is really building up your network and have people who can support you in the job search process. So take some time to, look up some people, add them on LinkedIn. Feel free to chat each other right now. I'll forgive you for that. This is definitely a networking type session, but I appreciate everyone sharing. This is awesome. Cool. So now that you've thought about what you like and don't like, this leads me to my next point. Only apply for jobs you are truly interested in. I know a lot of people tell you, hey, just apply to everything. It's a numbers game, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, while that is true, and there are tactics to applying for jobs, I really suggest you apply for jobs you're truly interested in, because when you get a call back for an interview, you want to sound passionate. You want to sound like you're open to the job. You want to sound like you want the job, because from a recruiter's perspective, we can tell when you're just half-assing something and you want a job just to get a job. So, in order to just filter down and not have to do as much work, I would suggest only applying for jobs you're truly interested in. And sometimes you might not know, sometimes you might get to the interview and decline the next interview, which I've actually done 4 times in my past job search, because either the salary didn't meet my expectations, the position wasn't a good fit, or the company wasn't a good fit. So you'll realize that along the way as well. I would say do not settle. That's the worst you can do, because you will be searching for a new job in no time. And you're gonna have to go through the job search process again if you do that. All right. And then in terms of the process for applying to jobs, customize every resume and cover letter. And I said, yes, every. I know it's a pain in the butt to do all of that. I would suggest having a template one, just a normal, your base resume where you can pull different things and customize. And if you're applying for the same position, you probably won't be customizing as much, but you do want to pull different keywords from the position description to really help you stand out and mirror the position description. And really how to stand out is making yourself clear, concise, quantify your bullet points, and showcase any of your accomplishments. That's really what's going to make you stand out. Don't just list things that you've done, but you want to list things that you've done along with the accomplishments with that role. So I'm just going to give you a very basic example. So instead of saying sold candy bars, you want to really make it so you showcase your accomplishments. So sold 5,000 candy bars using Instagram ads and targeted towards college students, and sold 5,000 within 2 hours. So that showcase, how to use Instagram ads. It showcases in 2 hours, you were able to sell a crazy amount of candy bars, and your target audience was college students, because that's what Instagram usually targets to. So I can see that just through that one bullet point, you have those different skills, versus if you just told me you sold candy bars, not really able to see, is it 1, is it 5,000, whatever it is. All right, so you want to make it customized to you. And then the next step in the process is use LinkedIn to find a connection or a referral. So when I was in the job search process, I literally went through all of my 3,000 something connections. I'm not here to brag. I literally looked through all of my connections to see who can get me connected to a certain company that I wanted to work at, who can get me connected to a certain position that I wanted to, to apply to, who can get me connected for an informational interview. So I actually did a lot of time, spent a lot of time reaching out to people, because like they said, it's a really good way to get connected is to know people, to get through a company. And when I was a recruiter, referrals were huge. And I would say, I think probably the majority for sure, over 50% of the people who came into a company were from referrals. So I know a lot of companies do have referral programs where employees can earn money to refer people in. So if you're a good candidate, definitely hit up people in your network and leverage LinkedIn. I was on LinkedIn, I swear, 24/7, all the time. All right. And we have a question. Should we try to front end getting connections, or is it okay to reach out after you already applied to a company? I would suggest two different ways. I did both. I would try to, if you do just try to reach out for a connection, don't make it about getting a job. Just say, hey, I wanted to connect and I want to know more. You never want to be salesy and just, highlight yourself. For example, like, hey, I want to apply for a role. Can you help get me in? You don't want to use that kind of leverage. Instead, you should try to build that relationship first. If you are reaching out after you applied, then I would be more specific, saying, hey, Stella, I applied to XYZ position at Find Your Peanut Butter. Here's a really quick summary, so like 1 to 2 lines of my skills and what makes me a good fit. Are you open to connecting? So I would do it that way, either or. But if you're just going to do a cold outreach right off the bat, I would not try to just promote yourself and send your resume right away. I hope that answers your question. That's a really good one. Cool. All right. Any questions about the process of applying to jobs? I know I did not cover everything. That's on purpose. I just wanted to highlight things that truly makes your job search successful. I mean, there's a lot more tips I can share, I swear. Okay, cool. So like I mentioned earlier, do not do your job search alone. I did, and it was a miserable process. Like I said, it gets defeating. So really build a community. And that's why I told you 10 minutes ago to connect with people in this room, to join a community, join webinars, join conferences, different conversations, really get yourself talking to other people and really try to get your network to support you and vice versa. It's really helpful to, link up with other job seekers to see where they are at and see if they can share any tips or advice or share different things that they're going through. Really look for that support to stay positive. And also really, this helps you keep yourself up to date as well. So jump onto webinars. I always feel that no matter how many webinars I jump into, like, I don't care if I join into 10 resume webinars, there's always something new to learn and gain a new perspective on. So I definitely suggest keeping yourself up to date, whether it's joining webinars, making connections there, like you're joining in now. If you're joining a community like Albert's List, if you're just getting a group of job seekers together, I would suggest doing all of that. I highly recommend do not do your job search alone. You will get defeated. And I don't know if any of you are there yet. I'm sorry if you are. I definitely hit a wall and had to take a break. But I wish I reached out to more people and knew more people who were able to support me in this process. All right. We do have a question. What about Glassdoor? Do you recommend using that site? I do recommend using Glassdoor. It's a really good tool to look at interview questions for the role that you're interviewing for. It's a really good tool to look at salary ranges. It's a really good tool to look at the company overall and see where they're at. I really like to see what people say about the company in terms of, like, do they approve of their CEO, and do they see this company moving forward in the future? I think that's really good information to help make your choice as to whether you want to join this company or not. However, look at it with a grain of salt, and I'll talk about that in the next few slides. All right, next question is, do you think LinkedIn Premium is necessarily when job searching? No, I got mixed reviews. No, I say no. I've used LinkedIn Recruiter. I'm using LinkedIn Sales right now. I've done my job search without LinkedIn Premium. You do not need it. I think it may be good to, I would say the only advantage of it is when you get LinkedIn in mail, you can reach out to certain recruiters. However, I'll tell you this, a lot of recruiters don't respond back. And it's not because they don't want to, it's because if you're applying to, let's say, a really big company, they might get flooded with hundreds of people every day and won't be able to get back to you. So is it necessarily worth it to message them? I would say the easiest thing to do is just to send them a connection, just to connect, and then message them afterwards. So you're not wasting any money with LinkedIn Premium. That's just my point of view. If anyone's used LinkedIn Premium and think it's worth it, why don't you type into the chat and Sarah can, see what's going on there. But I've talked to other recruiters too. In the job search, they say it's not worth it. And I still don't. I was able to do my job search without it. Right. How to get the resume past the ATS? Oh man, that's a really good question. I actually watched a lot of webinars on this. It's really interesting because a lot of companies, so like Facebook, Google, a lot of big companies nowadays are sharing that they don't use necessarily the ATS to get screening. They say that, they have recruiters looking at every single resume. There's only so much an ATS can screen for. I mean, I would say the biggest thing is apply for jobs that you do qualify for and look on the job description to see what the keywords are and how you can mirror that onto your resume. And this is why I say take the time to really cater your resume towards each position description, because an ATS, like it can look for keywords. It's really just going to, a lot of ATSs actually don't really have functionality where they like filter. So I wouldn't necessarily worry too much about it. I would just worry more about catering your resume to the specific keywords. I know that didn't really answer your question. I think it's just mixed. I think it really just depends on the company. You just really have to cater it. Learning side of it is good for LinkedIn Premium. Yeah, I do agree. LinkedIn Learning is really good. Someone said resumeworded.com was really helpful as far as my resume and LinkedIn profile did an ATS. Great. All right. Someone said, I heard the best way to get past the ATS is to get a referral from an employee at the company. That's honestly always the best way, which should get it directly on the hiring manager's desk. Yeah. So like I mentioned, if you know someone, get a referral. That's definitely the best way. And for those who are in college and starting the job search now, definitely start reaching out to people and start building your network. So whether they have a job now or later in the future, it's really good to start building that network. In my old job, someone had actually reached out to me that I met at a conference, and she was letting me know that unfortunately because of COVID, they were getting let go from their job. But if I had a position open to let her know, I didn't at the time, but because I knew her and was able to chat with her during this conference, we kept in touch, and she was obviously linked to me on LinkedIn. But one of my staff, unfortunately, did leave my team. And as soon as she did, I hit this person right up. And she's actually hired at my former company right now. So these connections go a long way, whether you're in the job search process now or looking for a company that you really, really want to work at. Make that connection with someone within that company, because you will never know. And people are pretty nice. Like the people who do respond back to you, let's say on LinkedIn or through a referral, are really likely to help you and would really want to help you. So cool. I've seen a lot of company recruiters posting we're hiring on LinkedIn. Is it perfectly okay to contact in this case? Heck yeah. I would definitely contact them, especially if you can see what positions they're hiring for. That's a pretty good indicator that they're open to having people just reach out to them. Can you recommend what questions I can ask to determine if my potential manager is an empathetic leader? Let's come back to that. That is a great question. All right. If some companies, they ask what kind of referral, as coworker, family, friends did business, maybe ex-coworker would be better to get attention. I'm not sure what you're asking. If you can rephrase that, I can answer. Cool. Okay, let me move forward and I will address more questions at the end. When did I start this session? 6 o'clock. Oh, shoot. Let's get this rolling right along. Y'all have some really good questions. So I'll make sure I address it at the end, but I just want to finish some of the tips and tricks first and then get to them. All right. Cool. What if you've been unemployed for a while? So I know with this COVID situation last year, some of you may be starting your job, some of you may be out of a job for a while. What do you do? Here are my suggestions. Open up your job search. Again, reflection will help you. Look at what you qualify for. You don't apply to everything under the sun. So if you just apply for jobs you're not qualified for, you are literally wasting your time. Really think about what's going to make you happy. Again, this goes back to what's going to make you happy. What are you going to be excited to interview for? But also make it realistic as well. What can you realistically transition into if you're changing fields, if you're changing jobs? And then think about what your transferable skills are. So really open it up. If a lot of people ask me when I lost my job, are you only sticking to campus recruiting jobs? And I said no. And let me tell you, when I was job searching in August, September, there were no campus recruiting jobs out there. So I really had to pivot and I really had to open up my job search. You know what? It's not the end of the world. It's time to try something new, which I was really excited about. So really think about that and think about what opens up your realm of possibilities and not just be stuck to one thing if you only have one position in mind, right? And then another one is take a position knowing that you have to start over in your career if you switch positions, field, or industries. That's exactly what I did. But you check to see if you still have an opportunity to grow within a company. You may have to take a little bit of a pay cut. That's just the reality of the situation now. However, switching may have a lot of potential in the long run. So really choose a company wisely, have them looking out for your growth potential, your earning potential, whatever it is that you're looking for. Companies are hiring more remotely now, so there's more options, but honestly, it does make it more competitive. So if you are looking for positions, definitely don't just look in the Bay Area. If you're in the Bay Area, look for companies that are hiring remote, but just make note that it is more competitive and you want to make yourself stand out with your resume. If I'm applying from another country, does companies take your application seriously? They do. I mean, a lot of companies are global. So if you are applying and you may not be a good fit for a certain role, they may pass you around to different recruiters or different positions. So yeah, I would say definitely apply, and they should be taking you seriously. Okay, and I have about a couple more slides to go through. Okay, Albert and I talked about this, so I thought it was worth mentioning. I'm actually going to breeze by these slides. Worst piece of advice for job seekers. I don't necessarily think there's any worst piece of advice, but take each advice with a grain of salt. Each person is going to have their own opinion. It really just depends. Do what works best for you and take advice and see what is common advice. So there's going to be so many different opinions. Like, for example, someone's going to say, do a one-page resume, which I believe in, not anymore. Some people are going to be like, do a 2-page resume. Some people are going to say, it depends on, if you just graduate or whatnot. So it really depends on the recruiter and the company. There's no one answer. So that's why you have to formulate your own opinion and just see what the most common advice is and just go with that. And then if you have any questions, just always ask to clarify. More often than not, recruiters or hiring managers are more than happy to help answer any questions that you can that you have, especially if you are in the recruiting process with them. Okay. All right. Some of the best advice, diversify what you do in the job search process. Again, hit up your connections, your referrals, apply on job boards and online, job fairs and events, informational interviews. Do a little bit of everything and do all of the different approaches. When I first started job searching, I just hit hard with reaching out to my connections. Ironically enough, the job that I have now, I actually simply applied online and they just got back to me within the next couple of days. So all the referrals from connections, I still got interviews, but the job I eventually got, I just simply applied online. So while I say hit up your connections, you definitely just want to do a variety of different job search methods. That's just what's going to help you get the best results. And then finding a job is a full-time job. So take breaks and take time off to reset. Just because you don't have a job at the moment doesn't mean you don't deserve a break. Like I mentioned, people do hit walls. You do need a break. You do need to take time off. I know I did. Just because mentally I was hitting a brick wall and I just could not look at LinkedIn or job descriptions or my resume anymore. So I actually took a couple of days off. It's totally okay to do that. Do not feel bad. Okay. Wrapping up. Should I get career coaching? Let me just brush by this really quick. So as you all know, or for those who joined late, I am a career coach. I am open for coaching. Let me know if you want some help. First things first though, a career coach is not there to place you in a job. They're there to guide you and provide resources and keep you accountable. So really hire a career coach if you're lost in the job search process and need help reflecting. And also if you're willing to do the work. I'm not doing the work for you. I'm here to be your cheerleader. I'm here to guide you, but I'm not here to do the work for you. The best way to find a coach is to look at niches in the coach specializes in, and a lot of them do tell you on the website. And the best way to do it is do a free consultation call. A lot of coaches do, provide that. So talk through how each coach is going to help you. If the style aligns with what you're looking for, look for referrals. If your friends had hired a career coach in the past, ask them about it. Will help you in the career coach will help you in the long run. Invest in your job search process. My area of specialty real quick is nonprofits, public accounting, entry-level hires, software engineering, and career changers. I know it's super random, but this is what I have experience in. All right. Cool. All right, wrapping up before I get to your questions. Trends of job searching in 2021, and this is what I just noticed as a previous recruiter and what I've noticed as a partnerships manager now and what I noticed talking to a lot of different recruiters. Hiring has really increased, which is good news. So this is great news for y'all in terms of the job search. Just know that there are opportunities out there. I know sometimes we have to be patient for the right opportunity, but hiring has definitely increased a lot since last year. We are in a more digital world, so you'll obviously see Zoom video meetings, everything's digitalized nowadays. You'll see more remote positions, which is great. I think we'll see a lot more entrepreneurs. So a lot of people that I talk to do want to see what stands out. So if you have a side project If there's anything that you're working on, if there's anything that you want to share, throw that onto your resume. And then there's obviously a remote workforce. You know, with that comes a influx of applicants. And I do see a lot of sales and engineering jobs. That's just from my perspective. Data analytics and program management jobs have increased as well. Thanks for sharing that. Last piece of advice, don't hold yourself back to new opportunities and find the one that sticks, but don't settle. That's the best advice that I can give you, especially as I went through my own job search. And also, if you're looking through to see my own job search journey, go to findyourpeanutbutter.com. I wrote a long ass post on everything that I've experienced through my job search journey. So if you want to just take a look, if there's any more advice I can share, if there's anything you can relate to, please check it out. Add me on LinkedIn. Like I said, I'm still on there 24/7. I'm pretty quick to message back. So let me know if you have any questions. All right. So with that, I wanted to make sure I leave some time for questions. Please let me know, type in the chat if you have any questions about career coaching, trends, job searching, resumes. And I actually think I saw something in about interviews earlier in the chat. So let me check that. And then I'll be able to answer that. Okay, give me 1 sec while I sip my water and look back in the chat. Okay, I knew I saw a question on interviews. So once interview's done and the interviewer asks, do you have any questions for us? Ideally, what kind of questions should we ask without having fear of being judged or not getting cleared of the round? Great question. So I always say, there is such thing as stupid questions. I'm just going to put that out there. That's my opinion. Stupid questions are anything that you can simply find on their website. So take a look at their website, and if they can answer it on their website, don't ask it. However, if there's anything you want them to elaborate on, that would be a good question to ask, whether it's through the company, the position that you're applying for, etc. However, you should really frame your question to show why you're asking the question. And that's what's going to have you be steered clear from being judged. So for example, if you're looking on the website and you see that they have some community service initiatives, don't just ask, hey, can you tell me more about your community service? Explain why you're asking. So for example, you can say like, I noticed on your website that you do a lot of community service initiatives within your XYZ company. Can you tell me more about that? I'm really interested in knowing because I do a lot of community service in my own time, and I really value companies who put that on the forefront for their employees. So when you do that, supplement and make that connection to show why you're asking the question, the interview can relate more. If you want any clarity on the role, do that, supplement the question as well. And that's actually what I do a lot in my interviews or my past interviews. Cool. All right, let's see. Next question is, let me admit this person. I'm going to leave my contact information up here as we scroll through questions. Where are resources to work virtually permanent during and after COVID times? LinkedIn actually has a really good list of companies that are hiring remotely. I would suggest following some, groups, specifically for your industry that you're looking into to see what the trends are. Different company will obviously have different updates on information, but I feel like LinkedIn, they do a pretty good job on that. If you guys aren't on Slack, that's a really good messaging platform to join in terms of joining different groups and messaging people within different communities as well. That's been really helpful to my friend during her job search journey. Okay. How to best leverage portfolio like GitHub to compensate relatively lack of experience? I would say definitely add if you have any portfolio links, if you have any portfolio for anything, if you have any side projects, definitely link that into your resume. And I would just highlight it as if it was a position description. So if you have any projects in your GitHub or whatnot you want to highlight, put that directly onto your resume to show it as if it was a professional experience. Okay, hope that answers your question. Let's see. How do you approach your job search if you are in your late 40s, early 50s? That's a really good question. I would say if you can actually clarify what exactly you're looking for, I can answer more specific, but just off the top of my head, in terms of a general approach, I would say, definitely make sure to cater your resume and highlight your professional experience that's related to the jobs that you're applying for. If you're in your late 40s, early 50s, you're probably going to have like a 3 to 5 page resume. You're definitely going to want to tailor that down and highlight specific positions that are going to be relatable to the jobs that you're applying for. Okay. There's a lot of questions. Okay, let me stop my screen share so I can see y'all. Okay, cool. Let's see, tips for mid-career transitioning. Oh man, there is a lot of tips that I can share. I would say, again, a lot of what I talked about in terms of transitioning is looking at your transferable skills, seeing what positions you're interested in, seeing what positions you're passionate about, seeing what your transferable skills are, and seeing how you can relate that to the specific industry. So the easiest way to go if you're transitioning careers is if you work in a specific industry. So for example, I used to work in public accounting. It's easier for me to get another position within public accounting. Or if I'm looking to, if I was a campus recruiter, it's easy for me to look at jobs that are related to campus recruiting, such as experience hire recruiting, maybe learning and development, maybe HR. Right now I'm in partnerships, so that's really building connections. I've looked at jobs in customer success, so that's building relationships as well. So you really have to look in that type of spectrum and really go from there. I hope that helps. How to approach your job search if you lack professional experience? If there's anything you can add, personal projects, websites, let's see, volunteering, internships, freelance work, if you're in any committees, anything that can showcase your experience, throw that onto your resume. Okay. I have difficulty finding jobs I'm fully qualified for. Many ask 5+ years of experience. Any tips for this? Yeah, I do actually. So if you're looking at jobs that are 5+ years of experience, you may want to look at different levels of jobs. So for example, when I worked in public accounting, there's different levels. There's interns, so 0 years of experience. There's staff, 0 to 1 years of experience. Experienced staff, that's like 1 to 2 years. Seniors, that's 2 years. Supervising seniors, that's like 4 years and above. And then manager, that's 6 to 7 years and above. So you really want to look at the position that you're looking at to see if it aligns with your level. And unfortunately, I can't share, if you want to message me later, I can share specific industry. So like for software engineers, which I'm currently looking for jobs for my job seekers now, like junior is typically entry level. Senior is usually 3 to 5 years. Principal is usually 7+ years. So you really have to look at the levels. All right. Let's see. How'd you turn down a job? Like, it's not you, it's me. Yeah, no. Okay, first of all, if you're going to turn down a job, and if it's just like you're going to turn down a date, or someone asks you to be their significant other, again, please don't ghost. But I would say, share as much as you feel comfortable sharing, but you don't necessarily owe anyone an explanation. But if you do get a job offer, please, please, please let them know and don't leave them hanging. I've had that done to me before, and I'm just like, are you interested? But just simply let them know, say, hey, I really appreciate the opportunity, but at this time, I'm going to decline your offer because I accepted another opportunity, or because the salary range is too low. Again, whatever offer information you want to offer up. But like I said, it's really as simple as, hey, thanks for the opportunity, but I'm going to decline. And they may come back to ask you more questions. Do not feel obligated to answer if you don't feel comfortable. And you can simply say, I don't feel comfortable answering, blah, blah, blah. Thanks for your time. Do not feel bad turning down a job if it's not the right fit. Okay, so going back to the question, in early 50s for a director of product marketing, to clarify, would you have a different job strategy if you're in your early 50s as a director of marketing and tech? Oh, and a female. I would say in that case, I wouldn't say necessarily the job search is going to be any different. I would recommend that you reach out to your network, especially in that high of a level. Definitely reach out to your network. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention, which it's like duh, on LinkedIn, have your open to work available or open for recruiters to search, and then type in positions that you're looking for as well. There's a lot of recruiters on LinkedIn looking for candidates every day, every hour, to be honest. And if you turn on that you're looking for jobs, recruiters will reach out to you. And that's also a really simple way to do your job search as well. Just make sure that your profile is filled out. And when I say filled out like your resume. So that when they do type in keyword search, that goes along the line of the ATS. When they do type in keywords, they can find your profile and message you right away. And for director level positions, I would say that's a really good way to get noticed if you do have that kind of experience. So make sure you turn on. Yeah, you've gotten a lot of inquiries on LinkedIn. Yeah, as you should. So make sure that you just, and I would say if you get a lot of inquiries on LinkedIn and it may not be the right position, I would connect with a recruiter anyways, see what's up with the job, and maybe now or in the future, they may have something new opening up that may be a better fit. They'll reach back out to you. Recruiters are always looking for good candidates. So if they like you, they will hang on to your resume. They will hang on real tight. Do I recommend the green frame in the profile photos on LinkedIn? I don't really have an opinion on that. I think it's more important to just have your open to network or open to certain opportunities for recruiters to look at. I think that's the biggest thing, because when they go on LinkedIn Recruiter, that's what they're going to be looking for. Because on the back end, you can see who's open to opportunities. I don't think they have a feature where you can sort through the green frame or anything. So I think it doesn't hurt, but do I recommend it? I don't know. Not really. Does age matter for certain jobs and how to approach those, especially Facebook and Google jobs? First and foremost, like, you cannot get discriminated by age, race, sex. So I know a lot of applications, they ask for a lot of personal information, such as, are you a veteran? Do you have disability? They're only able to use that for research purposes or for data collection purposes. They are not able to use that against you or, in order to hire you for a job. They can't see, oh, this person has a disability, I'm not going to hire them. That's illegal, I think, everywhere. I know California for sure. So when you fill out those information, just know that it's supposed to be not necessarily anonymous, but it's just supposed to be collected information. It's not going to be used against you in your application. All right. Yeah, this is awesome. If you guys want to drop your LinkedIn links in the chat, feel free to connect with each other. Some apps ask for graduation year. I know that's just, I don't know.
By the way, I do want to note that we are 7 minutes past the hour. Stella, do you have a hard stop, or did you want to answer more questions?
If y'all have questions, I'd be more than happy to stay on.
I'm happy
and answer.
to extend this all the way out to 7:15 if needed, or 7:20. If you're for that, say yes. If you're not, we can go ahead and end what has been a very successful career fair. So let me know.
Yep. The only thing that's waiting for me is dinner.
I just I've been glued to my computer since about noon, so I just DoorDash something myself.
Nah, all good. I think everyone's dropping in their LinkedIn links. Please feel free to add me as well and message me any questions. Connect with me, especially if you're looking for some career coaching, hit me up. This has been great. Can I get a thumbs up or a chat in or something in the chat if this was helpful to y'all? God, thumbs up from Lynn. Thanks so much for asking some great questions.
Oh, I love the emojis coming up. This is great.
Yeah, I love it. Love the celebration. I try to say, it's been a long day. I try to save a lot of my energy for y'all. So you've been a great group and lots of great questions. Cool. All right. Looks like everyone else wants to eat dinner too. So thank you so much for joining me. Glad this was helpful. Let's stay connected. Good luck to all of you in your job search. And hopefully I'll see you around next time.
All right, wonderful. Thanks everybody again. Thank you, Stella, for investing and being the last person today. You are not the least, of course. No one is the least. And we appreciate all of you spending your time with us and choosing an Albert's List hire collaboration to round out your career experience. So what goes from here? So your resumes are all in the system. If any of our job seekers, or rather if any of our hiring employers see your resume and they like it, they will have access to it. And then further to that, I also will be sending out a recap email at the very end of all of this so that you can get in touch with all of our fantastic and fabulous speakers today. And then in addition to that, also to Albert's List's upcoming events. We actually have our very next webinar on Friday, where we're going to be talking about, among other interesting things, the March 2021 jobs report and exploring why everybody is leaving California. So until next time, please, thank you again for coming. Join our Facebook group if you're not already in there. You should be getting a link to that shortly as well. And we look forward to seeing all of your success in your job search, serving you again soon, and wishing you all the best in your success stories as you get hired into your new jobs, whenever that may be. Thank you, everybody, and we will talk to you soon. Good night.
May I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, one quick question before we go.
Yes, because I'm chemical engineer, when I see the list of the job and the company was not in area of my expertise and experience. And are you planning to develop and invite more employers? Because I submit my resume, but I see the majority of the
that is the hopeful goal. I'm hopefully going to try and convince more HR people that if there can be 1,700 people for a virtual career fair, that they should definitely invest. And so if you have any ideas, do reach out to me offline, and I will be building my connections and relationships and speaking to new ones. So yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Bye.